Now that I have taken over this YouTube channel, I will be able to defeat any person in the galaxy. You stand no chance in fighting me and my new army. Don't believe me? Let me show you. With the overwhelming strength of this army, I will never be able to be... What? Who is this? Why are they in our army? Excuse me, ma'am. You don't belong... Okay, okay. Oh, God. Somebody go heat up her waffles or something. Good golly.
So in case it wasn't obvious by the intro, today we're going to be talking about Star Wars. Star Wars, yay! Star Wars. Everyone loves a good old Star Wars. Everyone knows what Star Wars is, right? If you haven't seen Star Wars, what are you doing? Like, not even just this one. If you haven't seen any Star Wars, are you living under a rock? What are you doing? Honestly, you need to go see that thing. It's pretty great. There's a reason it's been around for like 30, almost 40 years now. The top quality movies. You need to see them. I myself love Star Wars. I've grown up with it ever since I was just a wee little lad, just a little dude. I used to watch Star Wars all the time. For the longest time, the only ones I had were not the original trilogy, the prequel trilogy. I grew up with those, and I still love Star Wars. If you're a Star Wars fan, you know what that means. If you're not a Star Wars fan, don't worry about it. It just means that I grew up with the off-brand. It's not really off-brand, but you know when you go buy Oreos at like dollar store or something and you see those like Orxios or something, you know, they're Oreos, they're just not as good as the real ones. That's kind of what the prequel trilogy was. It was like Orxios. I think that's what they're called. Anyway, so I grew up with the prequel trilogy, still love Star Wars. My grandma introduced me to the other ones, love them all. When I found out that the Force Awakens, when they were making that, loved that movie, love it so much. Me and my friends, we get together to see big movie releases, and we were hyped to see this new Star Wars movie. The Force, wrong one. The Last Jedi. So ready to see this. Went to the movie theater, bought the wrong kind of tickets actually. We bought child tickets on accident. I bought them on accident. Bought child tickets, went there. There was people dressed up as costume characters. Made sense. There were people dressed up as Star Wars characters, and that was a big thing. In the small town, you know, you don't think of that as much. You're not gonna get that. You don't think, but it's a big release because everyone's seeing it. We get there, we're getting to the movie, getting hyped, get there an hour early to get seats. Doesn't fill up near as much as I thought it was, which was weird. Besides the point, get in the movie, get ready to start. Movie starting, hyped up, watch the movie. Fucking loved it. Loved that movie so much. I loved it to death. There were times in the movie I was smiling. There were times in the movie I was sad. There were times in the movie I was like, what is this? Why is this in here? But what movie nowadays does not have a part that you don't like? You know, we think of movies as perfect things. They're not. Every movie has something wrong. Something, at least. But I still love this. It's definitely one of my favorite Star Wars movies. Definitely top 9 Star Wars movies. Top 9. It's because there's only 9 Star Wars movies. But it's really good. It's a good one. People are really polarized by it. You either love it or you really hate it. Don't know how you can hate it. I don't know how you can hate any Star Wars movie unless you're just wrong. Unless you're wrong. That's the only way you can not like a Star Wars movie, is if you're wrong. You're welcome. I went online to kind of look up why people didn't like this movie or were not liking it. And just FYI, time out. Spoilers ahead. For those of you who haven't seen the movie, there are going to be not gonna do major spoilers, but there's gonna be some spoilers in here, so you've been warned. Okay, so one of the major criticisms of the movie is that whole casino planet. It just doesn't make any sense. I agree with that one. I don't like that at all. I have a lot of my complaints are actually a lot more
You had
different than what other people's complaints are. People don't like that Luke died. Oh, that's a pretty major spoiler, I guess. Well, major warning, spoiler warning, double warned. Luke dies. I'm surprised Carrie Fisher didn't die. Oh wait. Okay, so he dies. People had problems with that. They had problems with like character development or something. I thought all the characters were good. I remember them from The Force Awakens. They were like that. They were good. I really loved them. Poe Dameron's still like the coolest guy in the galaxy. You know, Rey's pretty cool. I loved all of Luke's scenes. I love everything Luke is. Luke Skywalker. I wonder if that's where that song come from. He's really cool. I liked all of his scenes. I liked seeing him as older, seeing him as more of a grudgier old Luke. I like that. The part I didn't like actually, my main dislike was the whole part with the rebellion fleet. You know, the rebel fleet is trying to run away from the Imperials. Well, not fly away from the Imperials, and they can't. They have just enough space in between them, but they're running out of fuel. And at the end, they say, "Oh, we've had escape pods. We're just waiting until we get closer to this planet." And the audience doesn't know that. Only the purple-haired lady does. Only she does. She's the only one that knows it. And probably Princess Leia, but something happens. Time out. Something happens. We don't know what's going on. They don't tell us, and so there's a whole bunch of stuff that's happening there. And the fact that they don't tell that, like, she doesn't, purple-haired lady, she doesn't tell Poe who we want him to know. He doesn't know, and so he goes off. He's starting to do his own thing, and that's where the whole casino planet comes in. It's because they're trying to breach the Imperial ship so that way they can make the jump to light speed, and they can't do that without these code from the Master Codebreaker, who they don't even get the Master Codebreaker. They get this guy that's in jail, and he comes along, and he plays a different role later, which I won't get into yet. But so that makes no sense to me. If the purple-haired lady would have just told Poe what's going on, that they're got the escape pods and go down to a planet, it would have been fine. But she doesn't, and it makes no sense why she couldn't tell him at all. It doesn't make any sense. And so, I'm gonna fix Star Wars, guys. I'm gonna fix it up real quick, like, you ready? If they in the beginning of the movie, because from the very beginning, they're battling the Imperials, you know. If they would have somehow managed to tie in a fact that there was maybe a spy in the rebellion, or that maybe something with Finn, you know how Finn used to be a First Order trooper, if like he had some sort of tracking thing embedded in him or something, that would have been cool, because they can't make the jump to light speed because they can somehow track him through light speed, which they couldn't do previously. And so they can do that now, and it doesn't explain why. So the whole time, I think the best way, they could have tied this up really good. If they would have had some sort of spy or something wrong with Finn that they wouldn't have known about on the ship, then that would have made sense for her not to, for purple-haired lady, it would have made sense for her not to tell anybody about where they were going, because she couldn't know who she could trust. That would have made more sense. And then, if they would have done that, the whole reason they have to go to the casino planet is to get the spy master, the codebreaker guy. But and the codebreaker guy that they end up getting ends up being part of the Imperials, or part of the First Orders anyways. And so, but the whole reveal of him being part of the First Order, it didn't do it for me. Because you didn't really know him that much, you didn't have very much screen on time. And so I feel like if it would have made it maybe a character we knew, or maybe a character that we didn't know, but we had more time to get to know, I feel like that would have been better. Because that just didn't do it for me. If they would have if they would have gone down to the planet to get maybe a code instead of the code breaker, So that way the spy who would have been with him is getting the code and then is bringing Finn and his girlfriend back onto the Imperial ship. That would have been a lot better, I feel. If we would have had him as more of a character we would have gotten to know, instead of just, oh hey, I'm here now kind of guy. That's really all my complaints though. I love everything with Luke and Finn, or not, some of it with Finn. I don't like my parts with Luke and Rey. I do like those. Rey did, I think, the whole thing on that island they're on, Rey and Luke, I really liked that. That was really, really nice. The whole part with Rey and Luke, that was real good. You know, just good times, good father-son bonding. What? Just the whole part of the island was just real good mentor and apprentice bonding. You know, Luke, he's old Luke now, and he has stuff he has to deal with, and we learn about that. I'll keep that. I won't talk about that. We see Snoke, and then we don't see Snoke anymore because he's dead. I was iffy about that. It was meh. You know, it's whatevs. I don't mind it. But overall, I think, you know, my idea, hey, Disney, my idea for how to fix Star Wars, can we release a director's cut, or I guess not a director's, can we release a fan cut of Star Wars The Last Jedi? I feel like that would add a lot more tension. My idea, you know, the whole spy thing would add a whole lot more tension to the movie. But let me know if you agree or disagree. Do you agree or disagree with what I'm saying? Let me know what you think or think. Let me know what you think or don't think. Let me know in the comments below what you think about my idea for maybe fixing Star Wars. Let me know if you've liked it, if you've even seen it. I hope you've seen it if you're watching all of this, or else kind of just spoiled it. It's still a good movie. Either way, I would still recommend 100%. Yeah, that's gonna do it for this one. I hope you've enjoyed. So make sure to leave a like down below. Also, you can subscribe right down there below. I'm starting to make more videos. I haven't really made a whole lot lately, but I'm getting into the groove. The Emperor's New Groove. Maybe I'll do something about the Emperor's New Groove one day.